hills and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I dry my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober.
Okay.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shortbangers. I'm Matty. This is episode 42. Tonight we are joined by, let's see, start at the top left, Colin. Colin, how you doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm liking your top.
Thanks. Just getting away at it because that'll probably be it for the foreseeable.
I've just been Scotland tops on again. Brian, you're back for a wee bit. How are you doing?
I was hoping to stay for the whole show, but if I'm just back for a wee bit then.
You're welcome for the whole show.
I'm fine. I'm excited to be back. I even put on aftershave. So
Nice one. And I'm glad you did. It's always nice to make the effort, eh? You smell
yeah,
proper.
fuck it. Absolutely is.
And John as well. John, how you doing?
Good. I'm good. How are you? Has anyone asked you yet?
I can't mind. Colin maybe did.
So.
I wasn't paying attention. I
Why
basically
do you
I
never
just
pay attention to Colin? That's poor.
I didn't pay attention to any of this, if I'm totally honest. Like,
Boy's nervous enough as it is, and you're just fucking ignoring him.
you just fill the gaps between me hearing my own voice. Right, we've got a fair few. I've followed this Twitter account called Swear Clock, and what happens is I kept the notifications on for it, and every hour it tweets to tell you the time, but with a fairly abusive or offensive bit of wording around it. So the message that came up on my phone as I was talking there was, "Come in your best friend's tapioca and serve it cold. It's 9 p.m. When I was in a meeting earlier on today, it was write a crime fiction novel under the pseudonym Shagatha Christie. Anyway, I'd recommend it as a Twitter account. It's quite good. Just remember to turn your notifications off if anybody else can see your phone.
There was a programme on BBC the other night about swearing in Scotland. You seen it? It's just an excuse for somebody in the BBC to say cunt, basically. But it's like a whole hour of Scottish swearing. So
outstanding. I think anybody swears like nobody swears like the Scots. We have a particular knack for swearing.
Definitely got the right. Well, somebody tries to explain that about the rhythm of our accent or something, so it slips out better.
It works a fucking treat. Right, first question, 150 Care Hanlon Hill. Is a Brussels sprout just an underdeveloped cabbage? Anyone? Is it not part of the cabbage family?
Is it an underdeveloped cabbage in the same way that a pickled onion is just a mini onion? Or an underdeveloped onion?
I can't stand pickled onions. Just the thought it gives me the bulk.
Really? You said that to me recently about the monster. Sorry, it wasn't Monster Munch. It was
Space Raiders.
Raiders.
Aye.
And you just weren't having it. You may be the only person I've met that's really, really against pickled onion.
Aye, it's a shite flavour. I don't like cheese
Is
on
pickled
onion
onion anything?
Aye, I don't like onions for a start. That's
Can you put onion in your food though, like in your mince or anything?
Aye, I'm no fussy enough to take it out, but see if I'm ordering a burger from McDonald's, no onion. Well, it depends. Sometimes I'll eat it with onion on and just put up with it, but
I bet you'd eat one out your fucking air fryer.
Fucking wouldn't I? I wouldn't be letting one in case it stunk it out. They're just shite things, onions. Anyway, Brussels sprouts. Aye, I think anywhere else we can go with that question. It's a wee fucking cabbage, isn't it?
Aye, it's just probably what you say, actual factual or whatever it is. Eh? That's what he's wanting you to say.
Fair enough. It's actual factual. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. Right. And how much would a Mrs. McGinn's sausage sandwich cost from the kiosk at Easter Road?
Would you buy one? You must have turned up at Easter Road before when you've been absolutely hanging, and a sausage sandwich would have been ideal. How much would you have paid for it?
£5. Basically, how much is a pie? A pie's about a £5 anyway, isn't it? For Easter Road, it's like
£3 odds, isn't it?
£3 odds. It's the most expensive food gone. There's like fucking Michelin chefs that see the prices at the kiosk at Easter Road and balk at them. Brian, do you know the story here about Mrs. McGinn's sausage sandwich?
I don't go to Easter Road, so
he doesn't listen to Longbangers either. No.
I've missed it. I'm afraid.
So we had Barry Wilkins on Monday night, and he was telling a story about the sponsors event the day after the cup final. So all the players have been out on it all night and rock up to Easter Road, start pouring themselves out of taxis and that. And he's got the job interviewing David Gray, who's turned up in a big green wig and sunglasses. And he asks him, what was the question? It was something like, how did it feel being the captain and the person who scored the goal to end the big hoodoo? And he stopped for a second and he took off his sunglasses and he goes, Mrs. McGinn makes the world's best sausage sandwich. Or words to that effect. Maybe John McGinn's mum, one of the two, but Mrs. McGinn, anyway, makes the world's best sausage sandwich. So I would say if it's the world's best, the fivers are probably pretty cheap. If it lives up to its billing.
Do
sausage sandwich.
Do St Mirren get a sell-on fee?
Very fuck.
I'll the price up for that.
Is it better? Is it what's better, a sausage sandwich or sausage on a toasted sandwich?
Toasted sandwich.
Oh,
or on a roll.
It's a great. So a roll's good.
Roll's
Sausage,
best,
sausage on a. If I was having a sausage sandwich, I would toast the bread first. That's a great shout, Brian.
Yep.
Brown or red sauce is the next part of that question.
To be honest, on a toasted sandwich, I'd go red. Anything else, brown.
Brown.
Would you go for a well-fired roll or just one of the sort of slightly crispy ones?
No,
Or
just a soft one.
Soft
I like I didn't see the point in well-fired rolls. If I can think that ruins them. I guess some folk swear by them, but fuck, what you want a burnt roll for?
Can we get a list of all the things that you didn't like?
Maybe
For
obscure
reasons. Aye.
Maybe what?
Maybe
Matty likes his air fryer and things that goes in his air fryer. And that's it.
That's it. No, I would rather not have a roll than have a well-fired one. They get it burnt. Fuck, didn't burn your rolls. That's when they've made a mistake and just gone sell them anyway. Like the Greggs, fucking us, they've well-fired Scotch pies in it. They're fucking rank. They're not meant to be
really?
well-fired.
No, that's just burnt. That's different. That's no. That's all wrong.
Anyway, right, next question. Here we go. Actually, this isn't a question. This was Ian McPhail just following up on the anagrams, if you remember that. What was your one, Colin, with... It wasn't Big Melons, it was...
Oh, Mel Gibson,
Aye.
Minge... Oh, fuck me, can't do it. I'm not had any wine tonight.
No. Well...
So it was Minge something.
Yeah, it was something to do with Minge. Anyway, Sergio Ramos is Rome's orgies. Giorgio Chiellini started well but pulled a muscle. He's heroic, going ill. And Leonardo Bonucci is a big lunchtime snooker fan. A noon crucible do for the big chap. Right, so that's not really a question, but we'll include that anyway. William said, who is your king of shithousery? Mine's, and then it's done like a wee gif, a Spurs player, I think. Who's the Spurs forward that Disney play? Came in as Son and Kane, and they bring on the boy.
Lamella.
Yes, Lamella. I think that's who's in his gif, but I'm not familiar enough with Spurs fan players. So, king of shithousery.
There was a footballer, well, I think he still was a footballer, that actually played for Spurs. Adel, is it Tarabat?
Adel Tarabt, aye.
Aye. He was, he's just a young Brian Dickey, isn't he? Shades.
What shithousery did he do?
Are we talking shithousery as in like tricks and taking the piss out of folk?
Aye.
Oh, he done it on a daily basis.
Just general Bob Agnes.
Oh, Bob Agnes. Oh, I thought maybe like shithousery as in taking the piss out of your opponents and nutmegging them and whatever.
I think that counts as well. If you're the opponent, you think he's a ball bag.
Aye, him then. Definitely him. YouTube him. He's compilation. He's very skillful. Takes a piss out of players. I like that.
What about you, John?
Lobs Minge.
Lobs Minge.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm working at it.
Minge Slob was the other one after that.
Minge Slob. Shithousery. I'm hard pushed to look beyond Roy Keane for holding on to that venom towards Alf Inge Haaland for that long after laughing at him for doing his knee in, and then Roy Keane put him out the game. I mean, are you going to what greater shithousery are you going to find in that?
Still says he doesn't regret that. Saw something just a week or two ago, and he says,
"Fuck him. If he dies, he dies."
Colin.
I could think he was Scott Brown, just running about noising boys up, even when he was obviously with us. He was in Hartley's ear and all that, having a slide kick, having a word in the ear, still done it at Celtic, getting up, giving it the big one and all that when they tried to.
Mind you go, was it Jankowski sent off at Easter Road for, I think he went into a hard challenge with him, and Jankowski must have had enough and lashed out and got himself sent off, and Hibs went on to win the game.
Aye. Yep. Brown's a great example. Like there's stories of mine when he was breaking through the first team. I think he was playing a reserve game against Hearts, and he was up against Presley, and he just pretty much spent the game telling Presley wasn't good enough to play him. So you're fucking shite. You're not good enough to play against me. What you doing here? Which when you're a young player coming up against a boy who at that point had played for Rangers and Celtic, couldn't he? By the time he went to Hearts.
Did you hear O'Donnell saying to Grealish at the weekend, I like your calf.
I like your calf. I fucking love that, because I think McGinnon told him, didn't go with the abuse because that'll fire him up, say nice things to him. And I think that's how I would approach it if I was. I would love to just, how weirded out would you be if you're like, oh, you smell nice today?
100% he must have turned round and went, fucking again. He must have.
And do you think that had Grealish flapping immediately because McGinn's been in O'Donnell's ear, and Grealish was just like, oh fuck, I don't know what to do here.
I thought we were mates.
We were best friends.
McGinn's good at the shithousery as well, by the way. Like, you remind him that Hibs, he would get stuck in about folk and noise them up a bit as well, or a bit off the ball, or leave a wee bit on somebody now and again. But
mind him with Sean Dyche as well.
Aye. Sean Dyche with the same fucking
jacket.
6 years in the Premier League, you still got the same shit coat.
Right, 150k in Hanlon Hill. What would you rather have? Right, would you rather have a face like Andrew Lloyd Webber or a hand like Jeremy Beadle? Brian,
you're taking the hand, aren't you?
I think so. I would. Yeah.
Aye, but is Jeremy Beadle no deed? So it'll be like a skeletal hand by now.
Even still, have you seen Andrew Lloyd Webber?
Aye, he looks like sitting out one of his musicals, Cats.
Like a melted candle.
It looks like a melted cat.
Like he's been in a hot car for too long. There you go. Right, Matt Reedy said, "Is fat as prickus? Either of the following: 1, fat, or 2, a prick." That's harsh. He's not here to defend himself. Actually, he replied to that tweet, and I think he claimed both of them. But he's a good lad, Alex. So we'll move on there. What attribute would you rather have? McGinn's bum, Big Daz's chest, Newell's hair, or Chisholm's finger?
Chisholm's finger.
Colin?
Well, I've got to go for the hair, eh?
I was going to answer that one for you.
I'll go McGregor's chest.
McGregor's chest. Well, that leaves me with the bum, but I think it's a spectacular bum, so I'll take it. Brian, what are you doing with the finger? That's the next question, isn't it?
That was my first thought, like.
Just giving directions, just pointing.
Just carrying out many nefarious activities.
TG Willis, who makes the best sausages and rolls in Embra? Spelled E-M-B-R-A, Embra. So I'm probably too far out of the game to ken who makes the best ones now. So
I'm going to go for my usual Allen's Bakery on Wrestle-Rig Road for the rolls, but the sausages, I don't know, we could maybe do finding out a sausage seller.
Well, can I just tell you, Crombie's the butchers on Broughton Street, right? They're called the sausage shop or something. I used to dip in on a Friday morning on the way to work when we used to go to work, and
Did you tell folk you were going to Crombie's, or did you say I'm away from to the sausage shop?
I'd get on the way in. No, the website's called the sausage.
Oh.
But aye, the sausages are brilliant. So
Did they do rolls though? Did they cook them?
you can get a hot roll in the morning. Aye.
Ah, right. Well, there we go. So if Crombie's, if you're listening, you want some sponsorship or whatever, get in touch and
Just in the corner piece of the road. So,
and tell everybody how good you are. Brian, you got a favourite sausage outlet in Edinburgh?
You're asking the boy that slept with all the ladies in Trinentive, you know?
No preference. Just
all right. Next question. Alistair Taylor said, "You're in a public toilet. What's worse, one wiper that's a 5 flusher, or a 5 wiper that's a 1 flusher? The toilet roll holder is just as noisy as the flusher." That's the caveat to it.
one.
The 5 flusher.
5 flushers, I imagine.
Right, here's the question for you, right? Public toilet, and the shite doesn't go away after the first 2 attempts. Are you giving enough of a fuck to stay for the third one? Or are you just making a sharp exit?
Only if there's somebody standing outside. Because you think they've got to follow in here.
See, it might depend if you're somewhere like, you know, in North Berwick, you get the service toilets where you can leave like a wee tip afterwards. I would probably take the same approach to that toilet as I would in like Next or something. Like I wouldn't want to leave something just lying about. Just because someone's there to...
Next.
I think you would tip the boy to clean up for you. That's you.
You just leave a bit extra. That's it. Sorry about that, mate.
See, when you go to a clothes shop, do you, like, if you take something off the rack and you don't fancy it, do you put it back, or do you just hang it over the top?
Oh, no,
because there's someone else. You put it back because you're a decent human being, but there's plenty of folk out there that don't, because there's people there to clean up after themselves. Clean up after you. But I take the same approach if I'm in the bog. I will stay there and flush and flush and flush until it goes away, and probably tip the boy on the way out.
Well, that's admirable. I'm not convinced. I would go after 2. I'd probably blame it on a faulty toilet.
I would leave a tip just saying, "Don't go in here."
just a wee slip of paper. Yours sincerely, Brian.
It was like that when I went in.
Because I've heard this podcast, I'd be surprised if you made it in for the cubicle.
Never again. It doesn't happen. Trust me. It's not as much as I'd like.
Random Dribbles asked, "When is now?" Very philosophical question. When is now? Depends when you listen to it.
By the time you thought of it, it's the past.
It's history right away, isn't it?
Aye.
It's gone. Let's not spend too much time on it. Time's a wasting.
Well, seriously, when is now? Is that similar to Morrissey and the Smiths asking how soon is now?
Nah, different.
All right. That's that answer then. Nice one. Right, moving on. If you enjoy time wasting, did you really waste time?
What the fuck? No.
See, is time wasting just being lazy? Like, or are you talking time wasting where you're... Because if it's your own time, you're surely not wasting it. But if you're wasting somebody else's time, even if you enjoy it, you're still wasting time, surely.
You can't
The thing is, aren't we all just wasting time?
Are you going to go into another what's the fucking point rant here, Brian?
No, it's fucking...
Why are we here? What is the meaning in all this?
It's a fucking waste of time. Everything's me fucking... You know, it's just a waste of time. Fuck all happens at the end of it. It ends. It's
we'll just call it a night now then, will we?
My old friend.
When is now? Well, as John says, that's moments past. I'll never get 5 seconds ago back.
No,
so that was a waste of time.
I imagine there's a
And-
few listeners thinking that they're out as well.
But
Right,
in the grand scheme of things, we're all just wasting time.
Are you enjoying it though?
Aye, this was the question. Are we having fun doing it?
Not particularly.
I was until Brian started on this fucking passage.
I'm going to save you the rant. I'm going to save you from the rant.
We are all just wasting time.
Get it on a mug. Right, when somebody with multiple personalities exhibits suicidal actions, would it be called a hostage situation? I've heard that one before somewhere. I'm sure a comedian had it asked that question. But
I'm going to say no, based on my limited understanding of psychology, which was derived for the film Split. And I think there is always one dominant personality. The rest are all just fictitious imaginations. So no, you're still after the one dude.
and we just clarify, you're basing this on a feature film.
Yep.
Excellent. Right, well, we'll start calling you Dr. John.
No, I'm not changing my Twitter username again. That's it. It's Curvy. It's there.
Because I saw a film with a hospital in it one time, and fucking I can know about medicine now. Right. Right, Liam asked, what absolute genius took a bit of bread and said, cook it again to make toast? They can answer. Sir John Toast, Colin, if we want to.
That's what I was thinking, but I didn't know what
if
to
we're
say.
going to, that's no you, John. This is it's a top flight time machine thing. Whenever they talk about who invented something, it's Sir John, whatever. And then they pick a date. I can't remember what date it is.
1800 and something. Isn't it?
Things like that. See, if you think about it, who came up with fucking making bread? Like, surely, I'm sure it's born out of necessity at some point, wasn't it? Like, they've got stuff and they just think, what the fuck can we do with this?
I often think about that. How did we arrive where we have recipes and guides of how to make certain things? Because at some point we knew fuck all.
Yeah.
At what point did we realise that mixing egg and an egg that came from a chicken and the thing that came out of a cow's teat makes scrambled eggs? I know you prefer to make your scrambled eggs without.
No, I just enjoyed the way you said teat there.
Teat.
It came out the cow's teat.
But how did we just, like, for how many tens or hundreds or thousands of years did we fuck about with ingredients and shit, just whack them together and go, aye, the outcome of that tasted pretty good. Did you write that down? No, fuck, we better try again.
Aye. Cakes. How the fuck did cakes come about?
Aye.
And even making flour. Like, do you know, taking grain and then grinding it to fucking down to a powder. Whose fucking idea was that?
I put smoked sausage on cheese on toast a few weeks ago. I think that could take off.
It's almost a pizza, eh? It's not
Aye.
quite an arsehole, really.
Bit of ketchup on it.
Don't be a pervert.
Was it decent?
Oh, it was fucking lovely. I don't know if anybody else has done that. I've not released the recipe, but I will.
We could do by the way, a Longbangers cookbook would be an eventful one, wouldn't it? It'd be fucking genius.
Yes, that's going to be the next in the product line.
Aye, the Longbangers recipe cookbook. Your guide
The
to
onions
fucking
are
world.
anything.
Well, we can have onions. It's just they're not coming with my stamp of approval on it. That could be, you know, you can all recommend onion stuff. I'll pass on those ones, but it will be like the fucking world's best snack guide, wouldn't it? For random shite that you might want to eat once,
Crisp sandwich.
but never try again.
Oh man, crisp sandwich with sour cream.
So I'm not a fan of salad cream.
What kind of crisps go with sour cream, any? Or is it specific?
Probably the best I've found after years of extensive research is cheese and onion squares.
Mm.
But I'm not
Yes.
keen on having cheese and onion squares by themselves out the packet. It's not for me. But stick it on a bat with sour cream and watch the ovaries explode.
Were we talking about squares the other day? How there are no actual squares, and somebody had fucking had a pal that had complained about it. Was that us, or was that a different conversation I've had?
Different, I think.
No, but
Because they're no fucking square. So that's
Nah, they're not perfectly square, but have you read the thing about Pringles, how they're like a perfect geometric shape or something for stacking and for transportation? I wonder if there's anything to do with squares in the way that they come out.
like what they fit in a bag, but the normal crisps fit in a bag. The bacon
but-
rashers fit in a fucking bag. They don't pretend to be geometric shapes. There's fucking it's some bacon rashers. And here's
Aye,
some
but how
fucking
many
crisps.
times have you gone into a packet of bacon rashers and found it to be mostly dust?
That has happened, to be fair. That's a fucking disappointment when that happens too. Doesn't put me off them though.
Does that make
No.
you buy 2 bags of bacon rashers at once, or 3 bags, or 4 bags?
No.
Only just the one?
Yeah, just have one at a time. Yeah, and by the way, don't make the mistake of trying to tip the dust into your mouth, because that's fucking horrendous. You cough that and you're coughing for fucking ages. The plus thing is your cough tastes of bacon crisps, right? So it's not without its advantages, but it's not a good look as you're choking half to death on crisp dust. So that's my top tip for the day. I saw a thing, right? It's not really related, but I saw it this morning. A video on Facebook or fucking Twitter, whatever. A boy had come up with a plan to take. You know how you get the drink refills, like the unlimited refills, and so he was in Taco Bell, and they did a special flavour of Mountain Dew, and he wondered if he could get away with adapting a cup so that it had a tube coming out the bottom of it that ran up his sleeve into a bag down beside him that contained a big 2.5 gallon container, and just keep refilling his cup basically until it filled up the container. And he did it. I thought it was pretty fucking smart. But you'd have to. The debate he was having was whether or not it was theft. If it's a free refill on the cup, does that count as theft? So, what do you think? Is that choring?
No.
It's not in the spirit of the offer, is
I
it?
get it. But, well, it's not a refill, is it? Because it's never filled.
Ooh.
So if
So-
it filled it up first, then drank it, and then done it, then it's a refill.
I bet it's
I'm the same
well,
with stealing
so
for a charity shop. It's not really shoplifting, is it? Because they never paid for it in the first place.
You channeling your inner Jambo here.
But it is, go to a charity shop and you can steal a jumper. They never bought that in. It was given to them. It's no shoplifting, is it? I don't do this, by the way. I'm just making
Is that-
conversation.
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. I don't know. I'd feel less comfortable shoplifting for a charity shop than I would try to siphon off 2.5 gallons of fucking Iron Brew or whatever for Subway.
I didn't see how he's refilling it though. If he's not, because it's a different cup. He's still had it.
Well, he'd have a
I don't-
brass neck if he took 2.5 gallons and then came back to fill up another one. Just a point of principle. There's no fucking stealing now. Anyway, right. Next question. Would you rather be, this is from Random Dribbles, would you rather be able to detect any lie you hear or get away with any lie you tell?
Get away with any lie you tell.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's probably be the best one, isn't it? Ryan, you're thinking about this one.
Any lie that I hear,
Why?
I don't like dishonesty.
But you can sense bullshit anyway, can't you? Whereas if you've got to get
Oh, I
away with
don't
your
know.
game lie,
I've had the wool pulled over my eyes a few times.
You ever seen The Invention of Lying?
yeah, Ricky Gervais.
Aye. So basically, the premise of this film is that the world that he's in, right, so the film starts off and folk are just brutally honest and nobody lies. So you could literally can take everybody at face value. They say, "Give me £10, I'll give you £10 back." That they would do it. They wouldn't lie or anything. And then he discovers that you can. What is his mum's? His mum's
He
on the
went in at the
deathbed.
bank. He
No.
went in at the bank and
He's-
looked for money, did he not?
No, his mum was on
And
her deathbed, and he tries to make her feel better. So he tells her, "Don't worry, when you die, you go to this brilliant place." But somebody overhears him, and they're like, "Fucking, how'd you know that?" Because obviously they didn't ken there's such a thing as lying, and so then he has to kind of keep it going for fucking ages. But he takes it. It's good. It's a good film. He takes advantage of it as you would. just how gullible folk are, kids telling folk that they're meant to marry them or whatever. And
Aye.
worth watching.
I like calling out bullshitters if I can. Like we spoke about it before, not in this, but folk that are just telling you a blatant lie, and you're a fucking liar, mate. You're like the boy. You got to tell me something.
I was going to say, tell the one you told me about the boy who it was a
The
running
jogger.
story. Aye.
So well, it worked right. He's fucking bigger than me. Like this was years ago, but he's bigger than me at the time, and he goes, I thought I need to get fit. So I went on a jog last night, and I felt really good, and I just kept running, and before I knew it, I'd run like 25, 26 miles or something. I went, you're in a fucking marathon, and you're sambas. Like,
when they training.
Fucking liar. You couldn't bob that up if you got on a marathon. You just didn't decide on your first night of fucking jogging. You couldn't run 25 miles.
Okay, working beside Forrest Gump.
Me. It's terrible, but
I can't keep a straight face. I would bring that up all the fucking time, though. I would be asking questions. Yeah, mind that time you run. What was your route again?
How many miles are running now? You must have got to 40, 50 miles.
You've been at it 2 nights, like. Anyway, aye. Would you rather have legs as long as your fingers or have fingers as long as your legs?
Oh, that's nightmare fuel.
All right. Basically, if you had fingers as long as your legs, are you effectively you've got slightly more than a spider, but does that not turn you into a spider?
Edward Scissorhands or something.
Big fucking scissors, like.
Aye, but big fucking hands. But
well, aye.
The other one, you've got no legs is the other option, really.
Aye.
I think I would probably take that.
So you're either like a crab, that's what you'd be like, fucking scuttling about, or a fucking spider, human spider.
No, because if your legs were on your hand, they wouldn't reach the ground, would they?
But right, stand up and put your arms down by your side.
Okay. Aye, but if I walk like that, then
if everybody walking about like a fucking thunderbird, just, so they're not scraping their hands off the floor.
Hands on your head or something.
John, what would you prefer? You've had a minute to think about it.
So if your legs were as small as your fingers, you wouldn't be able to walk. They wouldn't be able to support you.
No.
But if your fingers were as long as your legs, would they be proportionate to your legs, or would they still be like skinny sausage fingers?
They're just the same length. Yeah, same length. But
you'd have to, I still want to be able to walk, despite my fucking Mr. Tickles going on.
How would you tie your shoelaces?
Wear slippers. Are you getting 10 legs attached to your hand, or just the one?
Well,
each?
5 in each. Aye.
You get 5, aye.
That's what I was saying. You'd effectively turn. I know it's not exactly the same because spiders only got 8, but you effectively turn a fucking spider.
You'd have to have massive fucking arms to support your 5 giant leg fingers.
Aye. You basically be walking about like in a handstand.
Aye.
That'd be the best way. Yeah.
But then you'd have to be a handstand if you had finger-sized legs as well, because your legs wouldn't support your weight. So you'd have to learn how to walk on your hands.
Yeah. Would you be better at swimming if you had bigger fingers? Like, could you get a massive breaststroke going on, just fucking part the Red Sea?
You might be better at swimming, but you'd be shite at the guitar. So this music would be fucked. Right, that's a horrible image, isn't it? So, Alex, is the word Dunderhead worthy of making a comeback, or is it not getting used enough for good reason?
Not for me. I class Dunderhead along the same lines as like nincompoop. It's not hard hitting enough, is it?
It wouldn't be threatening if you were about to have a square go in the pub. And you say, listen, you Dunderhead. That's not the same as Ken. You can't.
But what if you were to bottle someone and then say, You're fucking Dunderhead.
Like
Context.
that's sort of added insult to injury, isn't it? Like,
Aye.
like you done, they're going to effectively call you a nincompoop.
Nah, Dunderhead's like it's like a term of endearment, I think, for your grandparents, maybe. Like it's an old timey word. But I wouldn't call you Dunderhead. But in
No.
80 years' time, well, maybe not 80, 20, 30 years' time, I might call a grandchild a Dunderhead. Probably not nincompoop. I've always thought nincompoop has been a bit of an English word, to be honest.
Don't know if that is true or not, but
And we've got a better
I would-
form of swearing.
Dunderhead, if I hear it, and I don't know if he ever said it, but I think of Taggart. I just imagine Taggart saying it. Dunderhead, there's been a murder.
There's been a Dunderhead.
Right, so I was saying we're not reviving it. Anyway. No,
No.
sorry, Alex. Dunderhead can stay where it is. Charlie said if you could eradicate the world of one food, what food and why?
Mushrooms.
Oh, but would that include magic mushrooms?
Yep.
Shit.
No, it wouldn't. You can keep them, John.
There you
Right,
go.
okay.
You seemed genuinely upset there for a minute, like it was actually happening.
Well, I've not tried them yet, and I'd quite like to. Asparagus. Asparagus. Just kind of getting it.
I don't mind
Just a bit.
asparagus.
Just fucking weird. It looks like it's almost like someone took another vegetable and saw the bits sprouting off the end of it and went, "We can use them."
Colin?
I'm just thinking kidney, or like steak and kidney. Take the kidney out, just leave it the steak, please. Just can't stick it.
Aye. I'll go with snails for reasons that we've covered before. They fucking need to eat snails. Right, what's the weirdest alcoholic concoction you've ever drank?
During a game of what's it called? Ring of Fire. You know, you got cards around the glass. If you pick up, is it the Red King or the Black King? You have to put something into the pint glass. Never play it.
Does this end up quite sordid, John? It sounds like one of those type of games. There's no card keys going in a bowl at the same time, or
No, just a pint glass surrounded by a deck of cards, and everyone picks up a card. And if it's anything other than a king, I think you don't do anything. But if it's a king, you get to put something in a pint glass. But you get to do that 4 times, so you can put as little or as much into the pint glass as you want. But if you draw the 4th one, you have to drink it. And I ended up drinking a pint of, I think it was vodka that someone brought back. It was like novelty vodka from Spain, and it was in a football boot, and it was coloured red. Absolutely stinking. I think there was Iron Brew, there was Tabasco, and there was something else. And understandably, I drunk it in the toilet because I chundered straight away.
nice.
It's horrific.
Brian, I'm afraid to ask you, Brian.
I had we actually got banned for the pub the same day, the Kenilworth in Rose Street. But there was probably about half a pint left. And just being dickheads, early 20s, into it went like sachets of horseradish, mayonnaise, 2-pence pieces, 1-pence pieces. There was a couple of fag butts that went in there. Anyway, long story short, the boys all said, putting £1 each for someone to take a big drink of that. And me, probably being skint, said, I'll do that. And I did. I took a big drink of it, but I made about 13 quid. So,
Hi, who's laughing now?
joke's on them.
Colin, how are you?
Well, a couple of them I was thinking there. I was in Benidorm when I was 17 when I was playing with a rugby team I played for, and there was one night we drank vodka and brown sauce, which is a bit strange. But so that the other thing I was thinking was, remember when we were younger and we used to do the birthday drinks thing.
Aye.
So we thought we were being, no, if you didn't like whiskies and that, well, just do it all white spirits. So I think for one of mine, I had like I didn't drink whiskey and rum then, which is what I drink now. But back then, so I got like a pint glass with vodka, gin, Bacardi, all the other white spirit or clear spirit you can drink it. With a dash of lemonade, and you had to down that because it was your birthday.
Your birthday.
So there was that. Because it was one of them. I drank it. I downed it. We were in Century, I think, and downed it, and then just stood there, and I thought, head was still clear. I was going, my legs are not got to, my legs are not got to move. I just can't. I'm not moving. I feel fine, but my legs are just fucking. I'm not. If I move, I'm falling. So I just they were the days, yeah.
Aye.
Why did they do that?
Okay, stupid. I did Full Lights in Firkin on my 21st. There was a couple of guys that worked at McDonald's come in, and that's what they did. I have no idea what was in it. They just went to the bar and fucking put whatever. It was fucking bouffing. I had to drink it all. Fuck knows what
I don't know if bars would let you do that now. I don't know if they let you.
I think so.
Because you just got to get buckled and you just got to be a pain in the arse.
Aye.
I just think, fuck it, I'm not serving it to you.
Aye, I wasn't long before I was spewing.
Aye.
In fact, what happened there is we went out of the Full Lights in Firkin. Obviously, it's a pubic triangle, so you get dragged to the chicken dippers, and one of them there was, I think, like a pool table or something. I think I fell asleep, just wiped out, he'd on the pool table until somebody woke me up to take me to the next pub.
To get the stripper up.
That's
where they used to dance on the
you
pool
can't
table.
breathe. Aye. Get off.
Fancy a chippy.
Fancy a chippy. Aye, let's go.
I was in what's it called, Birkenhair once, and it was quite a busy night. You know how when you're in the Birkenhair, I'm assuming that we've all been there.
That's the one he's talking about, the pool table, isn't it?
Is it?
I think it can. So
well, this I don't know when.
Is it one in the corner? Is it?
Aye. So I think the Birkenhair's undergone like a couple of transformations in the time of between the first time I went in and I think the most recent time I went in. But when I was in once, they had the sort of stage, and you know how it had like sort of metal bars around it, and then it had like the main pole that the ladies danced on. So I remember being in it was quite busy, and the place was never normally busy on the other times I'd been in, but for whatever reason this night it was really, really busy. And the woman was up, and I think she had like, it was a block of wax, or it was a candle or something, she was waxing the pole. And the music comes on, she fucking climbs up it, and she's dancing, she comes down, she's, you know, spinning around it or whatever, and she climbs back up it, and she slides down the pole, and fuck knows what had gone on, but all you heard was skin on metal screeching down it, like, and every single person in the pub went, oh! Poor girl.
Aye, that was the Burns night, was it? Right, Matt Reid has said, that's probably kind of leads nicely into this question. Right, is Matty aware of Lana Wolf, and what's his thoughts on her? If John doesn't, please make him search her on Twitter mid-episode. So do you all ken who she is?
Aye.
So I became aware of her this week because she was doing in London, I think, pretty much trying to make sure that anybody that COVID didn't touch while it was in there, which appears to be 90% of the folk that went down, if they didn't come back with COVID, she tried to make sure they came back with VD. By the look at that, that's if you know who she is, have a quick look on your phones.
It's just a Rangers strips I saw. She's a Rangers fan.
I think she is, but there was all sorts of kind of rank videos. She doesn't look like she isn't somebody you take home to your mum. Put it that way. In fact, you probably wouldn't take her home to your postcode, just in case anybody saw you. Right, Alex, what's the worst chat-up line you've ever used, and did it work out with pity? Ryan, come to you first on this one.
Worst chat-up line I've used? There's many. I'd imagine I'm willing to lower my standards if you are. Probably ranks up there.
I'd love it if you genuinely said that to someone.
I'm most likely. In fact, I know I have.
How did you get on? I bet it was more successful than you thought it was going to be.
Oh, I've done no bad sometimes. I must admit. One of the better ones was I bet I can make your breasts move without touching them. And then they say you start the barter, and they're like, no, you can't. I bet you can. I've got magic hands, etc., etc. I tell you what, I'll bet you £1 I can make them move without touching them. So they eventually, you grind them down and you say, all right, this boy's a tip. I'll take the quid. So you build it up, you give it a whatever else, and then pretend you're doing some kind of fucking magic trick. And in the end, you just reach out, grab them, and shake them, and you just hand over a quid. And it's worth it. And I've got away. Well, I say I've got away with that. Years and years ago.
Years ago, it's only back up now. This is going to go viral.
Longbangers is a bit of a Me Too moment.
I was just going to say, nowadays I'll get a hashtag Me Too, but back then it was chivalrous, wasn't it?
Aye, that's it.
You paid for it as well. So
and Trent, by the way, that is probably still one of the nicer ways to treat a lady. So, how about you, John?
Honestly, I never bought into the whole chat blind thing. I usually just try to go up and say hello. But I remember having a laugh years ago with a mate when we were going to have a night of shitty chat blinds, and I really wish I could remember them all. But the one that sticks in my head was,
do you like spreadsheets?
I'm not the best looking guy in the room, but I'm the only one talking to you right now. I never ever used it. I wanted to. We never had that night out.
Is that a compliment to them, or is it a?
Like I say, it's the worst one I could think of, but I never ever got to use it.
Okay, what makes me thinking, do you know that meme of the lassie standing in the club, just looking kind of bored at her tits, and the boy.
Aye,
the boy thought that's exactly what I'm thinking there. She's just thinking, "Save me."
That could have been a picture of me talking to any woman about 10 years ago. Innit?
I think one that works without fail, certainly for me, is just a plain and simple get in the van.
I've got your dog. What were you calling?
it's never. I always think it's dead cringy. Like it's just that it's not hang. So I just take what I could get anyway. You know what I mean? It was never what was that? But I can't even think of any. I just always thought of that. Like, when you read it, you think, oh, can you imagine even?
I see. So you heard the one like where you go up and you scoop the ice out of a woman's drinking and you stomp it and you go, right, that's the ice broken. Like I couldn't imagine doing something like that. It's just utter shit.
Or the stars in their, was it the one about the stars in their eyes and all that? And they're like, oh, fuck's sake. So, something for heaven and all that.
Rearranging the alphabet to put you and I together. No, fuck off.
I don't like the I'll tell you 2 interesting facts about me. One, my penis is the same size as a bookie's pen, and 2, I'm banned William Hill. that generates a laugh. Also probably puts them off.
But is the first thing to say to a woman when you're out in a bar? Or just out with your mate?
Sexy.
And they speaking.
What about you, Matthew? You must have some.
Well, see, at the time when we did that kind of thing, for a little while I had a band, and that would be, oh, I've got a band, I'm singing in a band, and then they would ask, and then you just make up all sorts of shit about how good the band was. It was back in the days of Oasis and everything, where that was all the rage. So
my band's called Doobie. I only do covers.
Couldn't get away with that now, eh? Everybody's straight onto Spotify or something.
Aye, I can, eh?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's quite sexy to do a podcast, eh? So
have you heard the Longbangers?
Guess why it's called that. Thankfully, I'm married, and those days are long gone. Didn't have to put myself in those situations. Fucking cringeworthiness. Right, Ricky asked, how long do you think humans have been eating meat? And also why and when do you think this person started the biggest trend in human history?
Jurassic Park.
You about then, eh? Somebody caught a dinosaur and just thought, fuck it, it's your turn to eat you. Pretty sure that's historically accurate.
A T-Rex, mate.
It might have been Jesus that did it. I think if I've got my history right. Like, Jesus caught a dinosaur turned it into a big meal for every cunt. I think that's how the religion, that's how it goes. So there's your answer.
Isn't it actually fish and bread? It was a dinosaur that he fed the 5,000 with.
Aye, that's it. I think that's actual factual.
Christian fundamentalists are going to be fucking outraged with us.
Could
How
just
long-
imagine him and his disciples talking about turkey dinosaurs.
Could you imagine getting cuts of a dinosaur and shaping them into little dinosaurs and covering them in breadcrumbs and deep frying them?
Imagine telling the turkey that's what you're going to date it. You, turkey, you're a fucking stegosaurus, you're a triceratops, and you lucky bastard, you're the T-Rex. Walk, 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 walk. You're the one that
And they're
you're
all
happy.
sitting there saying, Brian, for that podcast was right. It's a waste of fucking time.
The words, what products or services do you avoid buying for political or ethical reasons, or do you just not give a fuck?
Condoms.
So I'll not go into Witherspoons. That boy's a proper cunt. So I would not go to
Ryanair.
Witherspoons.
That's obviously a new one though for you, right? So
Aye.
When the opportunity arises, is you sure you're going to stick to that?
Aye. I would.
But
I
it's
would-
hard to stick to. Like, see if you're on a works night out, for example, or you got to stand in order. Aye, fine. Just a place to meet up before we go on
But I
somewhere else.
agree. I'd like to think I'd do the same. I've done it with the sun. Like I didn't read the sun.
I think
Even
it's
when I go down to my mum and dad's, they stop by the sun out of habit. I didn't even pick up and look at it. Out of
Just spit on it.
But the Witherspoons one's harder to stick to than no reading the sun.
Well, see if you just agree beforehand. If you're going on a night out, just say, didn't go to that pub, didn't go to that one. That's the ones I want to avoid. It's fucking easy.
It's easy when you're sober, eh?
Aye, well, this is true. The annoying thing about it is it's quite a good fucking setup that they've got, because you can order on your app and everything like that. That's the annoying thing, is if other pubs go on board with that and just
And it's cheap
aye,
as well.
but he's a prick, so fuck him.
Mhm.
Daily Record. Keith Jackson.
Aye, Daily Record didn't buy that. I've not bought a Daily Record. Well, I wasn't really a big buyer anyway, but when the whole Kevin Thompson and Scott Brown thing happened,
Mm-hmm.
that put me off him.
You look a wee bit like Keith Jackson. Fine.
Oh no, Colin, no.
Can you see the big bangles in that? He was big bangles in that. But they definitely
Aye.
look a wee bit.
Well, what's the best thing you've ever made out of Lego?
Barry Manilow.
I tell you what, not today is one of those fleshlight things.
Ribbed for your pleasure.
Ripped.
Ripped.
Torn to shreds.
Lego's got a wee bit more advanced since I was wee. Like you get, it's not the Death Star. It's like the Millennium Falcon and stuff like that. I remember when I was wee, it was like you could get a very crude Formula One pit lane garage, and that was about the size of it.
Pit lane's quite a shit. The car would be better, surely. That's what I got
I think there was a
Lego
car,
Technics kind of Dune buggy thing one Christmas, and I had help from my parents' side to build it, but it was fucking. I had gears, everything. It was all kind of cogs and all sorts, like a working fucking car. No working, you couldn't drive the fucking thing, but it was.
So what did they do? They just sat there.
Until somebody fucking stood in it and broke it, and then that was that. Because you're
Who
not
stood
paying.
in it and broke it?
The thing is, you didn't keep the instructions on it, so you make it once, and then after that, it's just Lego bits that used to be something. That's it. I mind we used to have. This is a shite story, but when I was really wee, and we stayed in Whitburn, so I shared a room with my wee sister. We were in bunk beds. So I had the bottom bunk, she was the top bunk, and what I used to do was annoy her by kicking my foot up into the bottom of her bed. Obviously, that would annoy her. And I think she'd thrown something at me, so I'd gone up the ladder to go and I can hit her or whatever, and she kicked me square in the face, and I fell off the ladder, and I landed into her box of Lego, and that was fucking painful. Just sort of lying there like, what the fuck's just happened there? It was funny, so the kind of laughter overtook the pain quite quickly, but it's memorable to this day.
That was your wee sister.
Aye.
She had the top bunk.
Aye, I think
How
I
did
fucking
that
heard that. I think
Oh, that sounds a bit.
I think
Should be the elder one should get the top bunk. Eh?
Aye.
It's because when they had that conversation about who got the top bunk, she kicked him in the face.
I was on my way up to claim it, like, but I made marks of Lego on my arse. Right, which Longbangers is most likely to be a Russian sleeper agent? That was the words as well.
Brian.
100%. It's not even up for debate.
Just
I refer
occasionally.
to myself as Dimitri the bricklayer after I shave my head, and it seems to have caught a bit of traction now. So,
Especially with the KGB.
oh, aye. I mean, I'm fucking. Oh, it's me, isn't it? I'm that guy.
Because it purely the shagging and the lie detection that we found at the night as well. That'll be all linked in together.
Yep, I'm him. I'm that man.
Right, Cal Chalmers, would you rather England got pumped 5-0 off Germany or be 2-0 up at half time only to draw 2-2, go 3-2 up in extra time and then be pegged back to 3-3 and lose on penalties?
I'd go the latter there, right?
I'd go the latter.
Yeah.
Draw it out as long as possible.
And then penned. Better game.
It's like the Hearts
first
Cup
start.
final, isn't it? It was like the Hibs Celtic final last year.
Aye.
Oh, to make it even spicier, have Germany miss the first penalty.
So it's almost there.
Just give them an extra bit of hope before it's cruelly snatched away.
Yes. Yes.
Right, Ricky said if you could only purchase one Hibs trip this season, would it be home or away?
Away.
Yeah, same here.
Aye, probably away. It's tidy.
The away one is minted, eh?
It was like early 1980s. I like it.
Aye,
Aye.
super. And stripes as well, which are slimming, so works for me.
No,
Well, see,
anything
that's
else?
Aye.
proven not to be correct.
Oh, well, that's fucked it in. Can I change my answer? Home.
There's already a good
Well,
chat kicking
QI.
about there. Is that how it? Is the stripes or hoops? Is it hoops are worse than not? The stripes are
Aye,
better.
hoops didn't work. They
They make no difference at all, believe it or not. I saw it on QI, and anything that Stephen Fry says, I believe.
Aye. I likened this podcast to QI earlier on the day, by the way. Because when we talked about the suicide roller coaster, remember?
Yep.
Aye.
And it might be Matt Reid actually had seen it on TikTok, some boy talking about it with a picture of it and how it works and everything. And he was like, oh, fucking hell, they were talking about that on Shortbangers. And we were. I was like, it's like we're QI, but with more laughs. So, and more factual, I think, as well. I think that's been proven categorically.
Oh,
Jesus Pagan and dinosaurs. Right, Ron Burgundy, what's your favourite word? I said no, it's no. Right, what's your favourite word? John.
Niggardly.
What?
Niggardly.
Is that going to get us cancelled?
Oh,
What does that?
No,
What does,
no. It means tight or thrifty or... Aye.
right, okay, take your word for it. Colin.
I just go for cunt. I like cunt. I quite like it.
That's my favourite.
I use it quite a lot. So yeah, and John's right. That is exactly what that word means. Because I thought I'm googling that. It's going to have some connotations to slavery or something, but no, it's not. I can't stick.
John, have you used that word in a sentence at work?
Only in the same way that I just referred to it now.
Right.
Aye.
Because you should drop it into a report. And just,
Oh, I'll try. I will try.
Well, you could definitely use that in the project world. Ungenerous with money, time, etc.
Aye, you'll be
Definitely usable in a business case or something.
Geese the overtime, you niggardly cunt.
Brian.
Splendid.
Splendid. Aye. I'll go for deflated then after that. Fucking that answer. I was expecting some fucking really, really good, hilarious answer there. I got splendid. No, it's a really good word. But when we've had niggardly and cunt, it is an anticlimax, if I'm being honest.
I wanted on the back of those two. I wanted to bring a bit of elegance and splendour to the podcast.
Actually, in retrospect, that's good. I'm glad you did it. Right, Joe Parker said, "Is it wrong to want to marry a football kit?" Yes. Ron Burgundy, what's your worst Hibs strips?
Anything fluorescent yellow.
I'm not a fan of the yellow either. There was the mint one as well. I can't quite make my mind up on that one. Mind for the sort of Liam Miller days. I'm not sure about that one.
Was that the sort of spearmint one?
Aye, but do you remember they did a thistle purple one as well?
Yes. Was that Krabby's sponsor?
It was Krabby's. It was a sort of light purple. That was the bit. I didn't like the first season of the Championship. That all green one.
Oh, the bottle did that green?
Aye, which might have looked alright if it wasn't for the big marathon bet sticker that they had on it. Because that totally ruined it.
They tried to come out with some story about the famous five and something, some shite to try and sell it.
Aye, but that was it was ranking off, and I didn't like it. Hibs strip. That and the slope one, the Puma one, didn't like that at all.
Oh Christ, I'm trying to remember that.
Was that for that cup final one?
Aye, it was.
Aye, that's probably part of it as well, aye. But I did have that. Was it two-tone or something?
It was like bottle green, and then I think like a wee white bit of piping, and then the normal green for the body. Yeah. It just wasn't a nice strip anyway. And then again, they come out with it's to pay homage to the slope, and then kind of forget.
Hadn't been there for years.
Well, fucking Spurs had the same strip the season before. Like I did kind of White Hart Lane. There's any relation with Easter Road, like if they got a slope on their pitch, but it seemed to be a bit fucking.
At least I think when we saw the Dunfermline kits come out, Dunfermline kit, the purple one that had like the wee sort of upside down diamonds on it.
Yeah,
I had a wee bit of concern at that point that Joma might have gone with the template, but I think they've definitely gone for something unique for Hibs.
It's nice, like it's smart. The new one's smart, but there will be a third one. There'll probably be a yellow one because it's basically for Celtic game, isn't it?
Aye.
In the olden days, you used to be able to play Celtic v Hibs wearing the green and white, or white and green, but no nowadays. No. So that's why the yellow one always pops up.
I can't why it changed because colour TV becoming more popular, and that's why. I made it up, but it sounded quite convincing, eh? Like that could have been the reason.
I'm sure. I'm sure I've read that. I think you're right. I'm going to say you're right on that one. Aye.
Well, I'll take it.
Maybe it's QI. It's like QI. This
program. Aye, like I said, factual. Right, Ron Burgundy again. What was? Where was your most embarrassing moment in public? Brian excluded.
Oh God!
Just let him do three answers.
So I'll start.
University's up there, isn't it?
I'll give you a wee minute to think. My most embarrassing thing in public, right? So we're in the south of France, and we're at this kind of caravan resort. Do you know, with the big static caravans? That's where we're staying for a couple of weeks in the World Cup. And what the staff at the camp would do is through the day they would go out with a video camera and they'd get score predictions and stuff like that off the folk. And then in the evenings, they'd put a show on. They'd do a pre-World Cup game show, play the VT. Folk would get the predictions. Everybody sitting in the bar watching it, and then they'd watch the game. So my kids at the time were too wee to be left alone in the pool. So I'm in the pool with them. And by the way, this resort have got effectively a Speedos only rule. So you can't go in with swimming shorts, right? If you're in the swimming area, it's trunks. That's it. You can't have swim shorts or football shorts or anything. Trunks. So, I'm spending the day in the pool with the kids, but it's shallow end and all the rest is here, kind of mostly out the water. We go to the pub that night, they're in the bar, and they've got the big fucking screen, and have they not been filming folks' predictions with me in the background? So I'm on this huge screen, just fucking like.
And you're budgie smugglers.
Aye, fat as fuck as well. Like obviously, I was sitting looking, going, "Oh, for fuck's sakes!" Like, and the kids are pissing themselves laughing, and I'm just like, "Fucking, this is a disaster, eh? Absolute disaster." And it was on for ages. It wasn't like a kind of blink and you miss it one. It was just fucking there. trying to catch, and I looked pretty fucking pissed off as well, which didn't help because I think I'd been probably wanting to go and get a pint by that point. But aye, that was a fucking shocker.
Would
Right,
be nice.
who's next?
Let's go for Brian's ones.
Aye, go on then, Brian.
Queen Margaret University is obviously up there, but we've covered that on a previous podcast.
Let's see what you covered it in.
getting the tap on the shoulder for that policeman on that beach in Benidorm. I also had a young Geordie girl propped up on about 10 sunloungers, was up there. I remember I once tried to sing Fill Me In by Craig David on karaoke and like Craig Miller fucking Miners Club, where it was like older men generally and me trying to sing Craig David. That was very embarrassing. All the time I run into two wheelie bins when I'd run to get fags. The shop, I could like hear the first shutters going down, and I tried to make a run down the street to get fags. Late at night, pitch dark. Forgot that people were obviously putting their bins out, and I basically ran full pelt into the first one, which kind of upended me, and I just kind of went surfing along a few bins, which caused fucking chaos in the neighbourhood because everybody heard it. That was up there. Playing football on the street as a laddie, and one of my mates, his gran, I just came out the door and I weathered a shot straight into her purse, and I got that much of a fright, pissed myself in front of everybody and ran home crying. To be fair, I'm saying a laddie, that was last week. But, oh, it's so much more.
Aye, John.
I don't know. There's honestly been that many. The one that sticks out was is it the Sky Bar that's through? Is it Rutherglen in Glasgow? One of the places that Hibs fans tend to go before semi-finals, cup finals, and that. So we were in there, and it was getting to no chucking out time, but it was getting to get your arse along to Hampden time, and everyone had piled into the toilets for a slash, and I'm next in the queue for one of the urinals, and I'm getting fucking anxious as fuck because I get pee shy, and it just get like there's no rhyme or reason to it. It could be an empty room and it'll just clam up, could be a full room and I'll pee freely. So fucking urinal comes up and my mate pipes up behind me, come on, fuck. And that was it. It just fucking clammed up and there's an entire room behind, like, of bodies behind me, all desperate for a piss. I'm like, fuck me, I have to basically just zip up. And of course he points out, he's like, you can't have had a fucking piss there, you were there for seconds. Like, no, thanks to you can't. So I had to wait until one of the urinals became free. Probably looked like I was trying to do a line of Charlie, but no, I was just trying to go for a pee in peace.
I'd like to be shite shy.
You'd like to be shite shy?
Aye. That would have saved me a lot of embarrassment over the years.
You got one, Colin?
I can't think of anything funny enough, mate. Just try and stay away from embarrassment.
I mean, when I worked for McDonald's, and if you go through the drive-through and your food's not ready, you have to park it and somebody brings it to you. Well, it's a snowy day, and taking an order out to a wee family that was in their car waiting. And as I got to the window, I slipped. You know, like both feet go at the same time. So I was like, pretty much going fucking horizontal. I still managed to pass them their food. You know, like that. So they got their food without any fucking spilling, and I'm just lying flat on the ground.
Did they help you in?
Nah, did they help?
Drove away. Fuck you.
Aye. That was that.
There's one I think it's just the garden, but when I sit at that my patio chair there, we've got a wee drain on the patio, and the leg of the chair. Every time the end one, I can sit on it and do not go getting one leg over. And it's just the house, so it's not too bad. If it was a garden field, it would be worse. But every time I go down, the Burns is piss yourself, and I'm going, fuck, I'm getting up with a Syrian and that. No laugh at it, it's not even funny. But
I was getting out my car one day to take the keys out of the pocket, I wait to put my key in the front door, and so when you come out my front door, there's like a path, and then there's the red stones you get that go alongside the path, so you have a bit of a ledge, and as I've gone to put my key in, my foot's gone over the ledge, and I've just stumbled forward, smacked my face right into the front door, I just fell, ripped my jeans, broke my key ring. Aye, and then kind of looked around and there's some woman walking her dog, just walking past it. Oh yeah. Aye, that was no fun. Right. Ron Burgundy, with away goals getting done away with, how are they going to ruin football next? Do you think it's a bad thing getting rid of away goals?
No.
Is that happening, is it?
Aye, for this season, which means we will end up going out, obviously, when we would have went through.
Euros.
Aye, that's a fucking nap, isn't it?
I don't think it's a bad thing, because away goals kind of, that's where it comes on, nil's not a bad score and all that shite. It's got to take all that away, innit? So,
aye.
It makes the first leg shite.
Aye, it's definitely second leg's winner takes all, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Right, Simon Mooney's, I guess this is a loaded question, but I didn't kind of background to it. So if any of you do, then we can answer it. Is it wrong for a supporters club who do hee-haw and put no money into a club to get TV coverage, yet the ones who pile in and don't even get a sniff from the big club? I'm guessing that's a specific situation that is related to Simon, but I didn't care enough about it to answer that one. So if you tell us, we'll maybe be able to answer it next time. Jay Caldwell, if Britney is being controlled 100,000%, should she be looking after her own money or giving some accountancy training, explaining percents first? So I think this is what Britney said, that she was getting controlled.
You read that?
No, I've sort of seen a few headlines, but I've no looked at what's the script with it.
Colin, sounds like you're pretty clued up on it. So
I read about it in the paper this morning. I've not read much more than that, but basically they've got some legal document over her, so she can't do anything like without them saying so. She's not allowed to wear makeup. She goes and sings when they tell her she goes and sings. She's not allowed to get pregnant. You know what I mean? This is her dad making the decisions. She's not allowed to. She's not got any input in it, so it's like all controlled by him.
Right.
And even the court case there, this is all serious, but I suppose QI the serious bits as well. So at the start of the court case, you had to say, no, I want this to be public, because they've managed to sort of keep it quiet all this time, since like even back to when she was Las Vegas and all that, and I don't know, however many years ago she was doing all that. So it's quite a horrible way for anybody to treat somebody, never mind your old man. So on this occasion, I'll forgive her for giving exaggerating the percentage thing, although it is normally a bugbear of mine, even the 110%.
110%.
Never mind the 100 million%.
All right.
But if anybody wants to make it funny, then they can make it funny.
I think enough of our songs. You know, you try to make like a pun or something like that, kind of be playing words with our songs, but I've no clued up enough on Britney songs to be able to do it.
The relationship between Britney Spears and her father is toxic.
There
it is.
He's hit her one more time.
Right, Brian, I can see you thinking there as well. You're going, right, you can literally see it. You're running through. It's like a beautiful mind. If you start writing on glass in a minute like that.
The only thing I could think of, and to be fair, it was actually related to me when I shit myself, is oops, I did it again. That's more on me than it is on her, to be honest.
Right, we're going to the next question. St. Christopher said, "What Jamie Murphy is distracted? What is Jamie Murphy distracted by in both the photo shoots? And if you see the photo shoots, Jamie Murphy is kind of hands on hips, looking. Now, Jamie Murphy did actually tell us genuinely what he was looking, what distracted him. But do you want to have some guesses first?
Charlie for Casualty.
Brian?
Is this where he's just kind of looking to the side? Don't know.
McGinn's man's got the grill on.
Aye, I said the Foreman grill surface, but we had the for my dad's for a barbecue on Sunday, and I'll not say who who it was, but they said that somebody they know, when they decide to have a barbecue, they basically take the foreman grill outside. And my first thought was, can you imagine rocking around, come round to ours for a barbecue, and you're like, we're calling you host a good barbecue. Can you imagine if we rocked up and say, yeah, how's it going? Here's some chicken, get on. And you go, that's great. Open up the foreman, put in. How fucking disappointed everybody. You just feel like that. What the fuck?
Slide the dial around the hot.
It's a wee bit one step down for a gas barbecue though, isn't it? Because a gas barbecue is just you're not barbecuing in it, just cooking outside.
Aye, but still better than that. You've got a flame in that at least though. Better than a foreman grill. Fucking aye.
I'm just picturing the big extension cable, one of the big windy ones.
Aye. Just dragging the oven out the door for some chicken. It doesn't fit on the fucking foreman.
You'll have that air fryer out in the fucking patio on Saturday.
Here we go.
So, do you do a fancy barbecue, Colin, or is it just like the charcoal or whatever?
What do you mean fancy?
Like, have you seen any videos of folk in America with like their smokers and that, and they'll keep it on at a certain temperature for hours and hours, and they'll come out and they go to put the knife towards the meat, and then they go, oh, fuck the knife, and just mess up the meat, and it's so soft that it just falls apart.
I can do that. I have done that. Yeah, do the slow cook. Depends on how you lay your coals on the barbecue. You've got to keep it heat all day and that. So I do that, and then I just fire the normal ones on for the burgers and that. Route 1 stuff.
Route 1.
Aye. Mm-hmm.
Good as
you
well.
having a barbecue anytime soon?
I am, mate. Saturday the 3rd.
You're fucking banter.
I think Jamie Murphy, what's happened is as they've been about to take the photo, he's heard the noise, flesh on metal. Anyway, what he said he was distracted by, he said I was only wondering why I've been picked to do the photo shoot. So there you go, an actual, real answer to a question. John R, when will I get over the shocking performance we had in the Scottish Cup final? I can't get over it now. It's all on you, John. You get over it whenever you want to, mate.
Positive mindset.
Aye.
Let the fires burn inside you for years to come.
Just let it go. I'm not pissed off. I'm pissed off about it if I think about it, but I just didn't think about it. That's my way of dealing with it.
I still get pissed off now and again.
Stuff those feelings down.
Aye, that's how I deal with everything. Like that's healthy, right?
Have you listened to Off the Ball since?
No.
Anything comes up Cosgrove, I'll get a fucking mention in, and that pisses me back off again about Nisbet being in somebody's back pocket or whatever, and you're like, oh, fuck off. But other than that, I didn't think about it too much.
Aye. We're playing civil service strollers on the 2nd of July. I think that'll be a good, for anybody who gets to see it, when you get to see football again with your team, it's easier to put old games behind you. So I'm looking forward to that.
I'm not going.
Is that a Friday?
Friday night, aye.
Is it?
£6 for the ticket. It's good.
Can I get involved?
Aye, you should. I got a ticket. Let us know if you're going.
We'll do it.
I got 2 tickets going for Josh, but he might be working, so I'll give folk a shout. And then Mal Bergen said, are we actually going to sign someone? Yes. That's going to be the answer. We definitely are going to sign someone.
Folk are getting a bit agitated about it the way. I was talking to my brother-in-law earlier, he was saying the new strips come out, the new strip looks massive, magic, and you see the comments underneath, and it's like, when are we signing somebody?
Aye.
Yeah, so it's, everybody's in a bit of still angry, I think.
I have a wee bit of theory about it, which is we're waiting to see for a couple of deals to finalise on folk going out the door, and a lot of that money is going to go back into the club. So I think we've got probably working on folk that we could get if we didn't sell anybody, but they'll be our like last resort sort of things. Like, but we're shopping in a whole different market this summer than what we're used to if the sales go through. So well, like if McGinn goes, if Nisbet goes and Doig goes, then I think we'll see some fucking great signings coming in for our level anyway. That's my theory on it.
Thomas Miller's tied up in the Euros now. Need to wait for him to knock England out, win the Euros, and then him and his agent will come over Easter Road for signing talks.
No doubt. What do you think his signing on fee would be? Yogurts? Got to be, yeah.
You see?
Bratwurst sandwich.
Cooked by Mrs. Frau McGinn. Right, that was our last question anyway of the night, so we will wrap it up there. Thanks everybody for listening. We'll be back on Monday with another top 5. I think we've got Ewan for Down the Slope coming on Monday, so join us for
Big
that.
guns.
Eh?
The big guns. The big
Aye,
guns.
the big
coming on.
guns. That's it. So watch it for that. In the meantime, have a good weekend, and we'll see you then.
Dry County line, I pledged upon. Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink what I know.